In this podcast episode, Aaron Doughty delves into the fascinating realms of consciousness, reality creation, and the CIA's gateway process. The conversation explores various themes, including the nature of reality, the power of intention, and the importance of emotional coherence. Doughty shares his personal journey and insights, providing listeners with a comprehensive understanding of how to navigate their own paths toward higher consciousness and fulfillment. The CIA gateway process refers to a series of declassified documents that reveal the agency's exploration of consciousness and its potential applications in espionage. Doughty explains that the gateway process involves mind and heart coherence meditations, which can expand consciousness and influence reality. The CIA's interest in this process stemmed from a desire to investigate remote viewing and other psychic phenomena, leading to a deeper understanding of how consciousness interacts with the fabric of reality. Doughty emphasizes that the documents highlight the power of intention and emotional coherence in shaping one's experiences. Doughty recounts his own discovery of the gateway process through his grandfather, who encouraged him to explore these meditative practices. He describes how the meditations are structured in waves, each building upon the last, ultimately leading to profound experiences of consciousness expansion. The process is not merely about achieving specific outcomes, but about understanding the interconnectedness of all things and how one's energy can influence the collective consciousness. A significant aspect of the gateway process is the concept of repatterning consciousness. Doughty explains that this involves shifting one's thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to align with desired outcomes. By engaging in specific meditative practices, individuals can create a new energetic signature that attracts the realities they wish to experience. This repatterning is essential for breaking free from limiting beliefs and old patterns that no longer serve one's growth. Doughty shares his personal experience with repatterning, noting that it played a crucial role in his journey as a content creator. By consistently practicing these meditations, he was able to shift his mindset and align with his goals, ultimately leading to significant growth in his YouTube channel and personal life. He emphasizes that the key to successful repatterning lies in feeling as if the desired outcome is already a reality, allowing individuals to tap into the energy of their intentions. Throughout the conversation, Doughty and Andre explore the nature of reality itself, discussing the idea that all possibilities exist simultaneously in a quantum field. Doughty likens this to tuning into a radio frequency, where each desired reality is already present. It is merely a matter of aligning one's energy to access it. This perspective encourages listeners to recognize their inherent power as creators of their own experiences. Doughty emphasizes that the beliefs and stories we tell ourselves shape our perception of reality. By becoming aware of these narratives, individuals can begin to dismantle the limitations imposed by their past experiences. The realization that reality is not fixed but rather a fluid construct opens the door to infinite possibilities, allowing for personal transformation and growth. A central theme in the discussion is the importance of emotional coherence in manifesting desired outcomes. Doughty explains that when individuals align their thoughts and emotions, they create a powerful, energetic field that can influence their reality. This coherence is achieved through practices such as meditation, breathwork, and visualization, which help individuals connect with their heart and mind. Doughty shares insights from the gateway process, highlighting how elevated emotions, combined with focused intentions, can significantly impact the holographic nature of reality. By cultivating feelings of gratitude, love, and joy, individuals can raise their vibrational frequency, attracting experiences that resonate with those emotions. This understanding empowers listeners to take charge of their emotional states and recognize their role in shaping their realities. Doughty introduces the concept of pendulums, which are collective thought forms that gain momentum through the focus and energy of many individuals. These pendulums can influence people's thoughts and behaviors, often leading them to feel as though they are not in control of their own minds. Doughty explains that fighting against these pendulums only serves to feed them, creating more resistance and division. Instead of resisting these collective energies, he encourages listeners to observe them without attachment. By recognizing the influence of pendulums, individuals can reclaim their power and choose where to direct their focus. This shift in perspective allows for greater freedom and creativity, enabling individuals to align with their true desires rather than being swayed by external forces. The conversation also delves into the power of intention as a driving force behind reality creation. Doughty emphasizes that intention is not merely a wish or desire, but a focused energy that can shape experiences. By setting clear intentions and aligning them with elevated emotions, individuals can harness the power of their consciousness to manifest their desired outcomes. Doughty shares his personal journey of setting intentions for his YouTube channel and how this practice has led to significant growth and success. He highlights the importance of being specific about what one wants to create while remaining open to the unexpected ways in which those intentions may manifest. This flexibility allows for a more organic flow of energy, enabling individuals to navigate their paths with grace and ease. A recurring theme in the discussion is the balance between intention and surrender. Doughty explains that while it is essential to set intentions and take action, it is equally important to trust the process and surrender to the unfolding of life. This surrender allows individuals to release the need for control and embrace the unknown, opening themselves up to new possibilities. Doughty encourages listeners to cultivate a sense of faith in the universe and their own inner guidance. By letting go of rigid expectations and allowing life to unfold naturally, individuals can experience a greater sense of flow and alignment with their true purpose. This trust in the process fosters a deeper connection to the divine and enhances the overall experience of life. Doughty reflects on his personal journey of self-discovery and the importance of embracing change. He acknowledges that as individuals grow and evolve, their identities may shift, leading to feelings of uncertainty and discomfort. However, he emphasizes that this process is a natural part of life and an opportunity for growth. By embracing the journey of self-discovery, individuals can learn to navigate the transitions between identities with grace. Doughty encourages listeners to be patient with themselves and to recognize that each phase of life serves a purpose in their overall evolution. This perspective allows for a more compassionate understanding of oneself and others during times of change. Throughout the episode, Doughty highlights the significance of community and connection in the journey of self-discovery. He emphasizes that surrounding oneself with like-minded individuals can provide support, encouragement, and inspiration. This sense of belonging fosters a deeper understanding of one's own path and helps individuals navigate the challenges of life. Doughty shares his experiences of connecting with others in the spiritual community and how these relationships have enriched his journey. He encourages listeners to seek out communities that resonate with their values and aspirations, as these connections can provide valuable insights and support during times of transition. As the conversation draws to a close, Doughty reflects on the simplicity of spirituality. He emphasizes that spirituality does not have to be complicated or esoteric. It can be grounded in everyday experiences and practices. By focusing on being present and connecting with one's inner self, individuals can cultivate a deeper understanding of their spiritual nature. Doughty encourages listeners to let go of the need for elaborate rituals or complex concepts and instead embrace the simplicity of being. This approach allows for a more authentic connection to the divine and fosters a sense of peace and fulfillment in everyday life.